We're Super Button Bashers. I'm Eric, New Era Panda, joined with Brandon, and give me a second. I need my glasses for this one.
It's so stupid.
Tony, Tony 16, first of his name, father of huskies, the basher of buttons, the Spanish fly, the lover of white women, the lone brown wolf, beater of the meat, the slayer of Jack Daniels, the king in the north, Long Beach.
Tony. I straight did a Hitler.
Oh shit!
All right.
So yeah, once again, welcome everyone to the show. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, feel free to subscribe for more. I guess fun stuff like that.
Yeah, if you're watching this and you have not seen the season finale of Game of Thrones, spoiler alert, trash episode. Spoiler alert.
Already trashing it. Okay. I mean, let's go ahead and like you said, if you guys haven't seen the last episode yet.
Go
watch it.
Maybe watch it.
It doesn't even matter.
Watch the one
don't
before.
Don't even bother.
Watch the one before and let it bleed into it. Just watch like a 3-hour movie. That makes it better.
Because isn't it?
Okay. Maybe.
Didn't we talk about that though?
Yeah, we talked about
that. Okay.
Can I?
We're gonna dive.
Word of advice.
Hold on.
Is that watch the episode maybe like when the episode before, like right when she starts burning down everything. Watch it like right there, and then just let it bleed in.
Yeah, hold on. I know there's a format, but just first of all, can I tell you guys that literally when I watched the episode, and then Sam stood up and he's like, at the end of the episode, was like, what if everybody gets to vote for who's king? I was like, Tony? Did Tony predict some bullshit right now? And then he sat back down and they went back to air. I was like, alright, I was gonna say, because that almost was just ridiculous. If you had predicted that, I'd have been like, damn, I'm gonna give you some money, even though we didn't put money on it. Like,
yeah, because if you guys watched our previous episode, we discussed the bells. So the episode before the final, we kind of gave our predictions of what we felt could have been it. Tony predicted democracy, which we all know how democracy works in this world, terribly. But let's go ahead and dive in, Tony. What do you think? Like,
all right,
how do you feel? So we already got the negativeness starting. Let's go.
Well, I mean, overall, like I said,
overall,
like the episode, I feel you should watch. Like I said, half of the first one before, because me and Kevin started watching the first one before, the one before it, on that part, and just let it bleed in because, the whole HBO account stuff. But and then we were like, okay, cool.
you guys, okay.
Yeah, because I watched it on Sunday and
because you guys paid for the subscription. That's nice.
I paid for the subscription.
Okay.
And everyone else just be leeching off of it.
Sure.
But I mean, overall, it wasn't gonna go anywhere else. There wasn't gonna be any big battle. Like I knew there wasn't gonna be like a big battle. It wasn't gonna be like the North versus the Dothraki and the fucking. I was gonna say Araceli.
They're gonna go into Araceli Grande dragon.
No, but there wasn't gonna be a big battle. I knew it was gonna be like either Arya was either gonna kill her or whatnot. But I mean, let's break it down like from the get-go. Like when she walks in. Like with the freaking bat wings, you said that you like the bat wings. It looked all like
it's kind of like she unleashed the dragon. Like she is now the dragon, And when we were talking about it earlier, the first thing I thought was, how do they get such a big banner that covers that whole broken part of the wall? And that's when you're telling me, they brought it from the boat. I'm like,
the flagship.
That's still a huge fucking flag to be putting on that broken part.
What
of the
a
wall.
Weird thing to think about. I don't know.
Because it stands out. Like the moment and I told him my favorite part was like I started looking at like how they actually did angles with the camera. There was one of them where you see the Dothraki, they're moving around. You see the Unsullied, and then you see this gigantic emblem of the Targaryens, the House Targaryen. You kind of see a little Daenerys there on top of the thing, and then you just see Drogon just in the back just flexing on everybody. It's like, you guys know why we won. You guys did something. I did everything. Because, come on, let's be real. If there was no dragon in play, come on. What would
Drogon's like,
what would have really went
like,
down?
Who should really sit on the Iron Throne?
Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
I did kind of a lot. I lost 2 brothers. I kind of did a lot.
Look, Mom.
kill
We're
everyone.
gonna have to make this throne a little bit bigger for me, because I'm gonna have to sit on
I'm gonna
this.
fucking burn this shit down.
Take
Fuck this
before-
throne. This throne doesn't even fit me.
But yeah, if you notice, like, I liked how, like, they gave her, like, cracked out eyes. Her eyes has, like, a little red tint. She looks all, like drugged up. So I think that was cool. And
She's
then,
like she did some meth the night
Yeah,
before.
and then
She's
she
like
get-
trying to fix it.
then she had that Darth Vader speech. I felt like it was, like, out of, like, episode 3 when he's like, I have brought peace to my new republic.
Oh, to your new empire. And then she's like I said, what was it? We were talking like Dragon Ball cards too, like how it would work. Like she becomes like
No, because you said she awakened the
oh
dragon.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
She awakened the dragon, untap 2 energies, discard one card from hand, which is Tyrion. Because you know, and that part was really good at like when Tyrion takes the hand off, because he's pretty much like I'm fucking done. Like my family's dead. You know, he doesn't really have anything to live for that he thinks of, so he's pretty much like sacrificing himself, knowing that I'm not gonna last.
What another stupid thing that Tyrion did. Well, why? Tyrion, you were already dead anyway. Like, she literally was like, you released your brother, which I'm glad they said, because I was thinking in my head, like, how's, there's no way Daenerys is not going to find out about this. It just makes sense. You sent the guards away, your brother goes missing right after Tyrion visits him. Obviously, there's just such an easy connection there.
Mhm.
So I'm glad that they addressed it, because if they didn't address it, it would have been an issue for me. But at least they said that, but him throwing the hand of the king is almost, for me at least, it was empty, because like, why do it when you already know you're dead anyways? And then you're gonna throw the hand of the king. Everyone's looking at you like, this guy's dead. Like,
I was like, Tony did make a good comment on that, though, when he throws the hand of the king and it goes down the stairs. It goes next to one, and Sully goes, ooh, I just got promoted. Like, he grabs the hand and puts it on.
You're it.
he's like, that's how it works, right? Just like, if you put it on, can I walk upstairs now?
Are we good? Hey, guys, peace out. I'm the new hand.
Why is Jon Snow such a bitch, dude? Why did he stand behind Daenerys and just like watching, like, oh man, this is crazy. Like, I can just imagine what's going through Jon Snow's mind. If he's just standing there looking, and he's like, Daenerys making this speech about how the war's not over and she's gonna conquer all lands, and I'm just like,
Well, first of all,
Well, I don't
I
think
mean,
you can understand her,
who
though.
knows if
She's
you-
speaking
if you
Valyrian.
understood. Yeah.
That's the thing that we're talking about, too, is, like, she's speaking Valyrian, and she does mention Winterfell, and I'm pretty sure that's what, like... But you know what, though? I think in the actual Valyrian, like, I'm going to have to rewatch it, when she's speaking Valyrian, I don't think Winterfell and Valyrian is kind of the same, like, syllables type of thing.
no. I think it was. I think
Or maybe he just already kind of knew, like, alright, this was the start, and knowing her reputation right now, that she's going to fucking start bouncing, and knowing how her and Sansa are, he's probably already seen that she's going to do whatever she can to fucking have people bend the knee, pretty much.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
I feel like he felt that he was just like, man, she is tripping right now. Like,
Mm,
and
Mad party
he was
last
just, He was
night.
reacting. He was reacting off the crowd. Like,
Yeah,
just
and
the crowd was
yeah.
getting super hyped. For
they're
the
getting
movie.
hype. Yeah, they are such the most boring people to get hype. They're just like. And you
How
got
do
the
you get down in the club?
And you got the Mexican Darth Gracky over there riding their horses and screaming.
They're going south of the border.
They're all like, ooh!
Yeah.
Line dancing.
It's insane how Grey Worm just assumed control. Like, it's just like, all right, so we have all these armies. You killed Daenerys, and Dothraki are never mentioned in this case. Like, we don't know what happens to Dothraki.
No.
But like, that aside, this entire moment, I was thinking in my head, like, there was obviously a part where they skipped in the story that would have been interesting for everyone to kind of like answer some questions. For example, so Jon Snow stabs Daenerys. Daenerys dies. The dragon seems like he understands what's happening, burns down the throne for some reason, and then flies off with Daenerys' body.
Okay, let's start with that.
I was gonna say, yeah, let's
You're
start
jumping-
from...
You're jumping all the way since.
Okay,
to the
so-
end.
We're there now. We're
okay,
at this
no.
point.
So no, because we still have... There's still the prison scene, where Tyrion talks to him and tries to convince him, which... Okay, there's not much to talk about there. Let's just be real.
Yeah, try.
So then... so we'll just jump straight into it then. So when Jon's actually walking through and he sees her. And the one thing I thought was kind of interesting was that she only got to put a hand on the throne. So technically, she never really sat on the throne and had to feel like that. Like, she felt accomplished, but I feel like if she would have sat on the throne and looked, maybe it would have possibly changed her mind to be like, holy shit, like, I'm sitting on the throne, but look at, like, the remains that I'm looking at. Like, I never pictured this type of thing, but I appreciate 2 cents right now.
I mean, like, yeah, I mean, that whole thing is that was just a mirror image from that episode 10, season 2 one, where she sees all the vision. Everything was just mirror image to
the House of the Dead or something
the
like
House
that?
of the Undying.
Oh, Undying.
But, my wrapper for my little protein bar. But, for the most part, I feel like the whole Tyrion thing, like, I feel like this whole episode was just mainly focused on, like, Jon, like, his struggle. His struggle on, like, hey, you know, what do I do, you know? That's why the whole thing was all like, honor is the death of love, or love is the death of honor, you know? That's why it was like, because, like, Tyrion spun it on him when he's all like, he's like, you know, love is the death of honor. So he was just, like, he's like, no, I'm not going to kill her. And then Tyrion's like, but honor will be the death of love, meaning, you know, she's going to kill your sisters.
Yeah.
So,
which, I mean, that's so understandable.
Yeah, so I think that's why Jon did it. I don't think Jon did it because she screwed up and did all this crazy stuff. He killed her because he knows if he didn't, his family would have been wiped out.
Oh, yeah, she would have taken him out. I mean, she even said it in the Valerian, you know, men, women, and children.
Yeah, so...
Doesn't matter.
But then, I mean...
King's Landing was a prime example of that.
Then you go to that part where, you know...
Okay,
I ain't gonna lie, that was in my head for like 3 days.
No,
Every morning I woke up.
I
was like...
really enjoyed that part, like when he actually just does it, because what does he say? He goes, "You will always be my queen."
Feels.
You'll always be my queen.
You don't love anyone, Brandon. That's funny.
And you know.
I thought you loved me.
But when he said that,
say whatever you want to say. Continue.
So
that I can tear this down.
All right. So I'll finish and then I'll let you destroy this, like Drogon did. So, like I said, when that scene happened and he says, you know, "You'll always be my queen," the first thing that popped in my head is like, this motherfucker right now. Like, he's just like, all right, I'm gonna pretty much. I told you I was gonna bend the knee. You know, I'm still trying to get some of that dragon booty. So, you know, why am I gonna jeopardize it? And then all of a sudden, when I heard the like, you heard that blade go into her, I'm just like, part of me was kind of hoping that she was gonna do it to him. Like, that's what I was hoping, like, that she happened to have a blade and just, you know what, I know he already betrayed me, this and that. She's the one that killed him.
That would have made more sense.
That would have been fucking amazing. But even though she got stabbed, I still feel like you saw the emotion. He was kind of like, I have to do this, even though I don't want to do this.
He looks fucked up.
Yeah, and like he was just like mentally, he was just like, I'm fucked up about it. And then to the Drogon thing, I'll jump real quick to that. So the Drogon thing, they say that the dragons are extremely intelligent, and then you were saying earlier, like they have like a connection,
they have a psychic connection
to like their mother, pretty much,
to the writer, yeah.
Yeah, so they have that connection. So I mean, I guess Drogon already kind of knew what it was all about. But then that's where
that's why he's like,
yeah, that's why I kind of go a little bit bumpy with it. Where I'm just like, motherfucker, do you really know what's going on? Like, do you know what they've been talking about? Do you know that she's getting banged out? Oh no, yeah, no, he knows because they did watch.
My dogs know everything that's going on, everywhere. The moment you mention one of their names, they look at you like,
What's up?
You talking shit?
What's up, bro?
I know what's up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, that's my piece on it. Brandon, take it away.
My bowl's empty though.
Yeah, they'll freaking. They'll backhand the bow. Like, I'll be asleep and I just hear their food bowl
tapping around
like shh.
Yo, come.
And then you don't do anything, and then they smack the shit out of that bowl. It's like ding 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 ding, and it's metal. The metal fucking bowl.
They're like, I tried to give you a little a warning, but no.
Try to be nice. So here we go. Let it happen. Breathe the fire, Brandon. Breathe the fire. Or just the kids. And
I have so many. I'm not unlike most of the internet where I feel a certain way, and I think that's because I think too much about this show. I definitely put too much stakes into this show, and it's a letdown. So here's my viewpoint of this particular scene, right? So the dragon has never been shown to be this intelligent, like detective level intelligence. Dragon shows up like fucking Sherlock Holmes. Takes a look at Daenerys' dead body. Sniff. Looks at Jon like, that was you, wasn't it? Looks at the throne like, this fucking throne. That was the problem the entire time. Burning the throne. I'm like, this dragon. If this dragon was this smart the entire time, this is my thing. Like, I half expected. I'm not even joking with you. I half expected the dragon to start speaking. Like just out of nowhere, like,
was he smart?
No, and then fucking.
Hey, have you seen the movie Dragonheart?
Dragonheart?
That movie is awesome.
Can we?
Not the Netflix sequels. The first one.
We're not gonna get on Dragonheart.
Dragonheart is the shit.
We're not gonna get on it though.
The fucking
because
music for Dragonheart.
I thought you were gonna do like the Hobbit type style. Was it Smog, Smooth?
Fuck that dragon.
That dragon?
No.
No,
Dragonheart is voiced by Sean
Smog
Connery.
was from.
I know, but I'm talking about the Hobbit. Like
that was Hobbit, yeah.
Yeah, the second one.
Yeah, okay.
All right,
So I'm thinking the dragon is gonna talk because in my mind I was thinking like, did the dragon just do an investigation? He was like, look this way, look that way, sniff, look at the throne, burn the throne, and I mean like burnt the shit out of the throne. Here's the other part I have an issue with this scene is because how do you not take the opportunity to show that Jon Snow is fireproof? Would have been a perfect opportunity for them to say, all right, the dragon tries to kill Jon Snow, realizes Jon Snow is actually fireproof. The audience gets to be like, exactly, like, because we've all been saying this.
I was waiting for that to happen. I thought he was gonna burn him, and he'd be like, "Oh shit, really? Like that's it? Okay, then all right, cool. Hey, we still cool though, right? Like the dragon gonna tell me we good? All right, and then bounce out."
I think the reason for that is that it didn't matter because the dragon wasn't gonna attack him because the dragon knows he's a Targaryen.
No.
So I think that's the thing. Dragon's like, oh fuck,
well the dragon
and he probably sees it as like like he saw them banging it out in the snow in front of that waterfall.
They banged it out in the snow. They kissed.
Let's be real. We're adults here, okay?
Right.
We know exactly what
They
happened.
turned that snow into a puddle. There's no problem.
Mm-hmm. We know what happened. So
she ain't no what's her name? Ygritte. Yeah, he ain't no.
You know nothing.
Here's the thing.
What you went on grandpa on that?
No, that's her voice. You know nothing, Jon Snow. Yeah, okay, whatever. But look, listen, check this out.
So good.
Listen to me though. Like, here's the thing. So the scene, it just made me feel like could have been way better. Because the thing is like it's gonna let us us as being the fans, we're gonna have to speculate forever now what the significance of the dragon burning the throne was, and
because he was just done with it. He's like, you fucking died for this.
But I think what he's saying is like, how does he know that
I'm gonna
that
say
was
this.
the reason?
I feel like this. Yes, exactly. I feel like this. The writers said, "Oh, wouldn't it be?" They're in a room, right? All the writers in a room. They're like, "Man, we're trying to end this season. What we're gonna do for last episode? Well, we did all the tight shit. What we got left? Let's just make a point. Let's do this. Oh, I got an idea. The dragons created the Iron Throne. Let's make the dragon destroy the Iron Throne. It'll be so poetic. It'll be so like you know." It's a loop, man, and like I could just imagine them.
And that's an amazing idea.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I'm like
that sounds amazing. You see, they should.
Yeah, it sounds amazing in a pitch room. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Brandon's in a pitch room. We don't even know about it.
It sounds great in a pitch room, and then you do it, and all everyone that's watching it thinks is like, how the fuck does dragon know to burn this throne? That's what I'm saying.
Well, here's the thing. So if the dragon has that psychic connection with Daenerys, so. The moment she got stabbed, he knew. That's why the moment she got stabbed, he went.
Can I just point out that was never pointed out in the show? That is
that
also
they had the connection.
But it was insinuated. So like when they were in the pit, when they were getting attacked by all the harpy motherfuckers, sons of the harpy, she busts like a fucking Professor X. So she's all like,
when they're in the arena
comes, and that's why everyone puts that fucking Titanic theme to it.
Fair enough. I'll give you that if there's context, fine. But yeah. I'm still saying, did the dragon then know like, oh, this throne is the issue? Look, it doesn't matter. Point is,
that's
like
the thing.
Eric said.
So like, straight up Pacific Rim. You know how like they're connected mentally. They see each other's memories and shit. So he probably was all like connected. Saw like all the shit that she wanted, so he knew.
Yo, how does Daenerys die from one knife stab? It takes a pile of rocks, a few knife stabs, everything else to kill Jaime Lannister. Explain.
Well, Jaime is more battle prone, like he's used to getting stabbed up. That's just kind of just my prediction of it. But then with her, you have to remember. Okay, so one thing that the hound teaches Arya is how to stab somebody, where to go for the heart. So I mean, as a kind of a knight or a killer, you kind of know what part to hit him at. So where he hits her at, it's with the right, and he does go right here. If you look at where he hits her, he goes through rib cage towards where her heart's at.
I'm going to have to say that would be a great answer to that question.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't also apply to Euron killing to fucking...
I'll add to that one too.
Okay.
So,
all right.
So if you notice, because I had to rewatch that fucking scene, so when Euron actually stabs him, he hits side stabs, which is kind of too high. I'm guessing like wherever I know nothing about like body anatomy and stuff, but wherever he stabbed him, and plus the dagger was a lot thinner when he stabbed him on both sides. When Jaime actually hits Euron, it's a lot wider blade, and when he actually gets him, he twists it, because you're supposed to twist a blade when you put it into somebody, so it actually, I guess, like I said, I'm not fucking smart with this shit, but, we
actually killed like 3 people, so as far as we know. But.
Yeah, it was
that's a good cover-up, though.
So
he's like, I've never stabbed anyone multiple times.
But you're supposed to twist the blade.
And, they try to cut arteries and blood vessels.
So let's just say, let's just bring the sword
let's
back
just say the dagger.
So let's just say, okay, so like, if it's wide, as soon as you go in, as soon as you turn it, you're like already scraping everything on the inside. So that's how he gets Euron. It's when he goes straight in and he starts to turn it in him. And once he starts turning it, you see Euron kind of like, he moves his head up and his body up because he could feel it like tearing his inside.
No, so but
compared to like a pen just fucking stabbing you in the side.
Alright, but I'm just saying, dude. Jon Snow stabs Daenerys literally.
The king of the north.
I didn't get a good view of where he stabbed her. All I know is that she died almost fucking instantly, and Jaime Lannister can take 2 of those stabs and not die.
But like I said, it all depends on where you're actually getting stabbed on the body. Like,
what
organs are getting destroyed and stuff like that. Because it could be the same thing with bullets. You could get a shot somewhere like right here where it just goes straight through you, compared to somewhere like if it's hitting more bone and stuff like that, and it has to actually crush through to get towards like lungs and certain organs. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying. I'm trying to defend it at the same time.
That's fine.
I understand what you're saying.
Look, there's gonna be this is the thing right here. Like, I think I'm getting. Let me just
get it.
Get it, girl.
There is a lot of shows, TV shows, movies. Everything has writer's convenience. Everything has very convenient plot lines that happen to happen. Because you're telling a story, and you want certain things to end up a certain way. It's for sure. And I'm just saying, it does seem, it's one of those things where this season particularly, and not just this season alone, but in a few of them, have set things up to where it's made me cynical towards this show. Like, I can't help but point out stupid things like this, whereas in the past I might not have. Mm-hmm. And it's all because you can't pride yourself on being... It's like as if... Let's take Breaking Bad as a show that had probably one of the best finales of a show.
Agreed.
And beginning and ending. Mm-hmm. Alright? And we say, things came back around. We knew exactly what... we've been seeing that last shot since the first season of where it was going to end up. And that, to me, is a show that knew exactly where it was going the entire time. This right here... showed me things where it was we're doing as much as we can for shock value, and the writing process to me is different. The idea of what we're wanting to do with this show has changed in the middle of the show, and that's the problem to me. Is this last episode kind of solidified that it was
rushed?
We're just gonna need things to happen. We're not we're not really gonna take our time to explain it. When Game of Thrones have always done that. Yeah. So rushed is a good way to describe that.
So would you think maybe 1 or 2 more episodes would have possibly kind of flattened things out?
I won't echo and mirror and what everyone else on the internet is saying. Oh, it just could have took a few more episodes. No, see, the thing is this: it's the episodes that they did have were already flawed. It wasn't a matter of adding more episodes. It was a matter of need to rewrite this season. Even if they were only going to do it in 6 episodes, could have been done better. It's just the fact that like maybe they knew that Daenerys was gonna become mad, and they knew that she was gonna burn King's Landing. And if that was the case,
better setup.
all the episodes set up for that. Set it up so that you're seeing these hordes of White Walkers and undead coming towards a castle, and it dawned on you like, holy shit, this is insane. And then show her dawn. Like, I felt like she went into that battle super like, it's all gonna be good. I got this dragon. It's like, no, you don't realize they have the undead dragon. I felt super hyped for the undead dragon. I thought the undead dragon was gonna do some dumb work, like crazy stuff.
Do the same thing she did on the bells, like take out a whole roll of them.
The whole thing. Because why not? You're on a dragon. So why is the Night King on a dragon when he can work the dragon? Why not be on the ground, let the dragon destroy everything? There's a lot of stuff. That's the last episode, so I'm not gonna backtrack. But showing on this episode just makes me feel like, and then Daenerys just dies in a way where it's like, I already felt like Cersei didn't get what was coming to her. I felt like Daenerys didn't get justly what was coming for her, because although I love that Jon Snow killed Daenerys, I think that was the only way it should have happened. It just didn't feel earned. It didn't feel like Daenerys got to understand. Like, before someone dies like that, it has to be a thing where it's like, you killed a whole bunch of innocent people, and for it to dawn on her and to be like,
well, that's why he killed her, because he told her, he's like, hey, you just killed a bunch of innocent people, and she's like,
but
hey, you know what?
Like, she didn't seem mad at that moment. See, at that moment,
she wasn't mad. She was just like, oh, well.
No, I mean, like,
the reason he did do it, though,
British man.
Well, but that's the thing about it, is that most people who are crazy, they're usually like, oh, it happens.
Sure.
It happens. It's like,
sure, but the show
how many
never
Mexican girls
shows.
those Latinas, man, they're spicy. Things get a little too spicy for the pepper, that's for sure. But he does tell her though. But he does tell her though about having choices, and then she goes, "Well, what if he tells her if they have other choices?" She goes, "They don't have another choice." Like, she's pretty much solidified, it's my way or the highway type of fucking thing. So that's when he was just like, "Oh fuck, all right, this shit's not gonna go well." You know.
He tried to give her a chance. He was like, say the right words, and I won't stab you." And then she's like,
no.
I mean, at first, because like I said, I'm pretty sure a lot of people wanted to see them two together, ruling together. That's the happy ending. See everyone kind of be like, okay, we're going to let this King's Landing thing slide. You know, we'll let all these dead people slide.
Give you a gimme?
We'll give you a mulligan. We'll mulligan this one for you, and then we'll see where we go. But I don't know, man. It's just, like I said, what I said, like, for the previous episode we did, I wanted to see something get down where it was like Grey Worm was defending her, and Arya was fighting, with that, or Jon had to fight Grey Worm to get to her, type of thing.
I think Arya and Grey Worm would be a better fight.
Yeah, because like I said, they're both agile.
I disagree with that, but like ultimately, either way, we see Grey Worm fighting to defend Daenerys. Either character would have been great. That's the issue. It's like it just didn't seem like. How did every single fan, we're not the only people that think this, how did every single fan think like, oh, this will be amazing, and for the writers to not see that?
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. Like,
maybe they just need to smoke some weed or something. If you're going to write something.
No, they're smoking way too much weed. They need to lower their dosage, or write half sober, write half maybe high. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. But just do something, because this is uninspired.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. I think they, like, George probably was like, hey, this is how it ends. And they were just like, well, write it backwards. And it just didn't happen that way.
That brings up a whole other conversation. But, like, I'm going to, real quick, we'll segue to, because I want to touch on that. The idea between what the book's intended to, like, set up and lead to, compared to what the show's done without in this last few seasons having the actual books as a guideline. We will get to that. I think one thing that we should continue with the episode is let's move on to like the last bit when they're doing the actual election thing with Tyrion as a captive.
Okay. I don't know. You want to start?
Well, first of all, I mean, that was kind of weird. They just pull up Tyrion and it's like, oh, decide his fate. And they're like, oh, we're not going to talk about his fate yet. We're going to talk about who's going to be the king first.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was a little weird. Because it's like, you're a prisoner, you're not allowed to speak, and then out of nowhere he's like, well, you know, Bran the Broken from, you know...
He's like, you don't have that right to decide.
Orange County Hardcore.
And how's Grey Worm like, I'm just gonna shove a spear through your asshole and like make a midget kebab?
That would have been actually kind of nice if you put the spear to him, like, what did I just tell you? Shut up. Stop talking, or I will assassinate you.
But then again,
I will
it's also Tyrion,
now.
and he just doesn't give a fuck. Like, most of the times he's been told to shut up.
But it's also Grey Worm who literally saw Daenerys on the field. He's like, cool, I'm just gonna murder everybody for no reason.
Well, I think maybe, because there's a part of Grey Worm could be like, now that my queen's dead, like, if I were to do this, like, what kind of justice would be done upon me?
Why does Grey Worm care? He lost everything.
That's true. I don't know. I mean...
Wait, who knows? But it's all convenient, but either way.
But I think it's like, I mean, it was like interesting because it kind of let you feel like, okay, who is actually going to be on the Iron? It like kind of kept you guessing.
Yeah, because there was
all
of
the way
them.
because they were all there, and like I thought they were just going to be like when he's like, oh, who has the best story? I thought, I mean, we'll see when they release the deleted scenes, because it might be like, oh,
because supposedly they have like different endings.
Yeah, there's different endings. So it probably is.
There better be different endings.
There probably is an ending where he's like, who has the best story? You know, Jon Snow has the best
I didn't
story.
know that did they officially say that there was more endings?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So
that should maybe get people a little bit more wet.
So there's probably a different ending where he's like, you know, Jon Snow has the best story. He died for his people. He united the, you know, and then people are like, oh, I'll just take this as my real ending. You know?
So this brings up a hypothetical question.
Choose your own story.
Yeah.
This brings up a hypothetical question.
Press X.
You play a game. What game have we all played? Can we Final Fantasy VII?
I would say it could be kind of like the Telltale games.
All right.
Well, okay, whatever.
But only except for only the ending gets to be chill. So if it's like Final Fantasy VII, and at the very end of the game, turns out like you have a second ending that you can eventually get. That's like, oh no, like everybody survives, like everything's good. Would you appreciate that game for that? Would you appreciate that?
I mean, it's hard to say because like I've always been a fan of just however like do stuff like. When I, like, growing up watching a lot of shows, I was never like, oh, well, this should have been done like this. It was always just like, okay, it is what it is. I would prefer it like this, but fuck it, you know, like, I'm kind of happy where they went with it. But, I mean, that's just kind of like me. So I do the same thing with video games, too.
What do you feel about multiple endings, though? What do you feel about a game that has multiple ways? I'm saying games because games are more likely to have multiple endings. I can't think of another TV show. Like maybe a couple movies. There's a couple movies that have multiple endings, but can't think of anything else.
I don't know, because for the game, that means I gotta put more work into it. Just give me one and I'm fucking set.
I mean, I like games that have multiple endings because then it's like...
Because then like not Xenogears, like Chrono Cross had like what?
16.
Like a lot, 16 endings.
Got them all.
Yeah, whatever, Tony. What else?
Stupid.
You want me to bring the sword back out?
The king of Chrono Cross. That's Chrono
The king of North Long Beach.
So I don't really care too much about it. I just see it as more like, then it becomes, for me, it's more of like multiverses. Like, okay, this is what happens here. This is what happens here. This is what happens here.
I play a lot of games with multiple endings, and I always feel it cheapens the experience because the ending you get on your first time through doesn't even feel like it has any weight. This is just me personally. Never feels like it has any weight because I'm then realizing like, well, it can also be this way, and that's not always bad in every case, but in a lot of cases that I've played, games with multiple endings make me always feel like not when the ending is decided by the actions you make. That's different. I'm saying like a Telltale game, whereas everything makes it because your experience is the only experience you're experiencing. Therefore, the ending makes sense to you. I'm talking about like where at the very end you got the complete playthrough, and all of a sudden there's like this extra thing. It always makes me feel like, okay, well, like this isn't. Is this canon? Is this not canon? I won't get into. I have a great example, but it's too much of a side tangent. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, when they did do that scene though, like, you know, I was very like, I was looking at all the characters and I was kind of like plugged in like, okay, who could be the next one? Like, it could literally be anybody except for like You know, the one from like the Vale.
Except for Bran, yeah.
Yeah, there was some of them, and Bran was the one that I didn't even think about at all. And then I did like the whole thing with Yara and Arya.
Oh my god.
For Yara, I did like that. The one thing I mean, you know, with that scene, you know, with him talking about Bran the Broken. What?
Just thought about Arya. It's like, what did she say? Like, you one more word out you, and I'll go over there. And did she say I'll go over there and kill you?
I forgot what it is.
She said something. She's like, you say one more thing about killing my brother, and I'll like cut you myself or slit your throat.
Yeah, I mean, she's being real with it. Say one more thing, you can get your throat cut.
So
but like, you know, Bran's story is decent. You know, for everything he went through. You know, okay, you know he pretty much went all the way up north. You know, he's a three-eyed raven and all that stuff. But I don't know, man. I feel like there could have been possibly like someone else that could have sat on top of it, like on the throne.
Yeah, anyone, literally anyone.
Okay, so
anyone.
So I wish they would have ended with him sitting on the throne too. I mean, well, his wheelchair.
The throne doesn't even exist.
They could make.
So that's why they had to melt down the Iron Throne, because it created a ramp.
I know, Bran. Bran, what's your first order of business? Wheelchair ramps all through King's Landing.
All wheelchair ramps. Make multiple wheelchairs and ramps. In the brothels. Start with the brothels.
Start with the brothels.
And we're gonna start a wheelchair basketball league.
So
they're aggressive. Have you seen
I
those?
know they are. That's what I said.
Yeah, that's kind of a shame. Here's the thing, dude. It's not even like I'm not gonna make a cripple joke about Bran because it has nothing to do with it. It's just here's the thing. Like they call him Bran the Broken, which is what a great inspiring name for everybody in the kingdom. Also,
he broke the wheel. Broken.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
But he's on wheels.
Sure.
Two wheels.
2 times.
Sure. So you guys make the person who literally was just saying how he doesn't really care about anything anymore. He's not really human. Jon's not my brother. All these things Bran just got done saying.
He was playing the game, that's why. Didn't you not hear him say? He goes, that's what I'm here for. Like, how G of an answer was that?
That's
why I came here.
That was super annoying. Because it was like...
But I was like, this is what we were talking about earlier, too, is that, didn't he always say that he can only see the present and the past? I don't think I've ever heard him say that he could see the future. That's
debate, because now there's reason to believe that he could see parts of the future, but it's really
like visions.
It's called green sight.
And then another thing I told him would be funny is like, what if he became the king, and then he goes, oh yeah, one more thing. What if he stood up and started walking, and he's just like, and then they're looking at him like, we've been pushing you around this whole time, snow, gravel, all this stuff, and you could have been walking this whole time.
Like, Padre, you're a knight now, but here's your job. You're gonna push around Bran. Padre's like, sounds great, man. This is all I wanted to do.
I just wanted to be a knight that pushes a wheelchair.
He's a knight, though. A title's a title.
Bran's like, shows up to the first meeting, and everyone's sitting around. They're like, yeah, so what about this? What do you feel like, Master of Coin?
Brothels.
Man.
So you want to fast forward? I mean, what else? I mean, what else can we say about the council, though?
The council.
The democracy thing.
Well, the democracy thing still almost happened because they did say that they're gonna just meet up and still vote who's gonna be the king. No one's.
So there's still.
It's not gonna be a succession.
Yeah.
Because since Bran supposedly can't have kids,
they choose whoever's like next that they feel.
They're not. Yeah, they're gonna meet up again and then decide who's gonna be the king.
Well,
so that's still happening. It's still gonna be decided on who would be the best person for it.
So why then did Sansa be saying out of nowhere, well, the North is going to secede from this entire thing. We'll just be an independent nation. What for?
Because the North is as equivalent in size as the whole Seven Kingdoms. That's the whole thing about it. Is that the North itself was always big enough to be like it's equivalent to the other people, and it has its own basic like climate. It's always not like cold in the North. It's always so the North itself is like
a factor, but
because the North itself has always been its own thing. The only time the North actually like became part of the Seven Kingdoms is they were like the last people to like bend the knee to the Targaryens, and the only reason why is because they have dragons. So like fuck, we ain't gonna be able to fight.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Snow, fire.
That's why the part when Robb Stark gets nominated as King of the North, the guy pulls out the sword and he's like, we bent the knees to the dragons. And that was before they knew about Daenerys. They're like, there is no more dragons. So the North is its own again. And that's why they're like, so Stark is like the first man, the first men, he's like, this is my only king. The Starks. And that's why he becomes...
I feel like it's petty. At this point, everything that they went through, it's like, no, we're going to be our own kingdom. Look, like, we literally just established something new. And for Bran to be like, cool. And for everyone else to be like, alright, that's cool. We don't want to be our own kingdoms.
I know, but we talk about that too. Like, what if Yara was like, okay, well, I'm going to take the fleet and we're going to do our own thing. What if the Prince of Dorne's like, okay, we're going to go and do our own thing?
Well, just think of it as a...
then he's
but you got to think of it as an economy, though. You got to think of it as an economy.
Yeah, because they're all getting something from something.
They're all getting something from something. The North is the only ones that they can establish.
How can they, if they... Look, hold on. Real talk. Wait, everybody...
So let's go ahead and start talking about our final thoughts because, you know, I mean, there's a lot that's been going on from, like, when it started to, like, now. And, I don't know. You want to start, Tony? Final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall, it ended. I wasn't expecting a big wow. I just expected an ending, to be honest. I didn't think... The whole show itself had so many big wows that there really isn't much. I mean, obviously, The Long Night was, to me, obviously was the best episode of the season. People bitched about it, but, like, the whole concept and the whole symbolism about it is that they were fighting darkness. And it's like, just think about it. Like,
death.
Yeah, it's just chaos. So it's supposed to be chaos. It's supposed to be scary. It's supposed to be dark. You're not supposed to know what the hell is going on. Like, that's how I felt on that episode. I was like, what the hell's going on, you know? Sucks that was, you know, in the middle, and then the rest was just like, oh, this person's dead.
It's like it kind of went up and down, up and down.
But, I mean, I think overall, like, what I felt like the best thing about the whole show that I liked the most, probably saying, you know, just, I don't know, really. I mean, I think this whole summary of just, like, the whole, like, I don't know really what I can pick. One area, one thing good out of the whole, like, series itself that I prefer the most. But, I mean, it had a lot of great stuff.
Final thoughts?
Yo, like, are there laws against perjury in the Seven Kingdoms? Because I'm trying to figure out why newly knighted, what's the chick's name?
Brienne.
Why Brienne's over here writing in her own writing.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that.
I'm just going to touch on that for a moment, but then I'll say overall that, hey, listen, her doing that really was the entire season to me. It was basically them going, okay, the rules don't matter. I'm going to write whenever I feel like I want to write in this moment. And it was literally the best metaphor I could think of for the ending of this season. A story that was written meticulously with purpose, and then someone finds a book and just like, all right, this is how I feel about this, and then writes their own piece.
I mean, as someone that didn't, like, get into the show right away, I was very, very, like, defiant of it. Like, I did not want to watch it at all. One, because it was one of those things that everybody was watching.
Too hype.
Yeah, it was too much hype around it. And then to have, and Ray, if you ever watch this, to have my buddy Ray tell me that it literally starts with incest, that already turned me off. But, it took me, and I'm glad that I got sick to start watching it, to get really sick in bed to where I started to start the episodes, that I got hooked. So, and I'm kind of mad at myself that I didn't get into it when the hype was real because, the writing before this, this season does, have hiccups and it's not the greatest season. I will agree with that. But it's still a greatly written show, and with everything that happens, it's actually one of those shows where I did not know what to expect at all. Never reading the books, everything that would happen, from the Red Wedding to the Purple Wedding, the Battle of the Bastards, all like the big hype, the Long Night, I had absolutely no clue. So I kind of took it in with, fresh ears and eyes and just loved it. Like the Long Night, probably one of the first episodes I've ever watched in my entire life where I had anxiety. Where it was one of those where like, okay, like what's going to happen? Who's going to die? Like you have no idea what's going to happen in that episode. They did tease a lot of it, which I wasn't too big on, where one person would drop and then you kind of think, oh shit, are they done? Like that's it. And then they happen to survive. a lot of that stuff could have been easily done differently. But I mean, overall, I mean, I'm actually happy with it. You know, the way it went. I had no expectations at all. I wasn't expecting a happy ending. I wasn't expecting a sad ending. Nothing like that. I was like, whatever you're gonna give me, I'm gonna pretty much just endure it and just kind of like it. But so now that we got that clear, is there a certain way, Tony, that you could think of that you wanted to see it end? Because I know there's still more we could have talked about, like, you know, with their talking with the hand, you know, like Tyrion being the hand again, them being in their council meetings, and, you know, Bronn finally making his return, which he only had, 2 or 3 scenes the whole season.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that Jon should have been the king, because he's, like, the only person who literally, like, stayed pure the whole time.
Yeah, his character was
always like, I'm the good guy. He's always been the guy. He's always honorable, and he was always like treated like shit. So that's why when you find out like he's the heir to the Iron Throne, you're like, fuck, this guy was treated like shit his whole life, and he's actually the king.
The runt. He was the runt.
Yeah. So I mean, that would have been a good ending, but you know, and he you know, like they said, it's like the person who is best to rule is the person who doesn't want it, doesn't need it, you know.
Was it Brandon?
Brand the boot. No.
Brandon the Broken.
Brandon the Broken. How I would have wanted to end is also just like Tony said, man. I would have wanted to see Jon Snow on the throne, reluctant or not. I would have liked them in this season to give Jon more lines than "I don't want it," and
I like how you said that.
And
he's on this.
She's my queen. Those 2 lines, literally every episode you see. But anyways.
Brandon's on it today.
I'm haunted by "You'll always be my queen" every morning.
Yeah, that's true.
It's insane. Like,
I'm
many times
I'm hurt for him.
How many times you gonna say
I'm hurt
this?
for him.
He got no more lines in this. They just didn't know what to do with Jon in this. Anyways, I would
That's
feel
gonna be
like
the next Drake song. "You'll always be my queen."
it's probably
We could start it.
don't. They'll sue you early. They'll sue you even if they haven't done it yet. No, but I would like to see Jon on the throne. I like the way Arya ended, with her being like a pirate and going to explore what's unexplored in Westeros, or just in the map and the world in general.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's cool. I think that was the coolest thing they could have done for her character. And then if Jon wasn't going to be king, then I would have liked Sansa to be queen, because I feel like she's had so many experiences that make her qualified to you've been with previous kings and queens and people of power to understand how they think, and you've learned your lesson. You started off as a bratty kid and really grew, and I feel like having that character arc could have been also really cool for you to have become queen of the 7 kingdoms. But she succeeded. I'm not too upset about that either. I think that was kind of weird, but like, fine. Sam being the maester, we talked about this before, like I really would have wanted it to end with kind of Sam, and maybe this is cheesy to be honest in hindsight, but him kind of like, he was writing the Song of Fire and Ice, and they kind of did do that, where he drops the book and it was like, it's called Song of Fire and Ice. Then he's like, Tyrion's not mentioned anywhere, and I was like, okay.
I was disappointed. I hated that.
Did you?
Yeah, because he plays such a pinnacle part of everything. He was involved.
What do you mean Tyrion not being in it?
In the book?
Yeah, he's not in the book at all.
Right.
That disappointed me, but go ahead. I'll let you finish and then I'll...
I mean, no, but those are the characters that I really wanted to see wrapped up in a certain way. Everyone else I didn't care. I mean, Bronn, it was so weird to see him master coin. I was like, I don't know what you guys are even thinking.
Lack of options.
No. Plenty of options. First of all, plenty of options. Bronn already got himself promised an entire land.
Well, that's the reason why, because he has Highgarden. Highgarden has the gold. So that's why he's master.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
No, absolutely not. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, he has the money. He's basically their bank. He's like, look, what you want? You want to let you borrow $40? You gonna pay me back Wednesday?
No. No. He's master.
You want those wheelchairs and those brothels?
He's totally... I don't even think, straight up, the way they wrote Bronn, I doubt that he would even accept a role as... whatever, as master... I don't think he would have even accepted it. I think
he was always about getting promoted. He was always about making that money.
And that is kind of double, like what Tyrion promised him.
Yeah, but Bronn already had everything he needed. Like, why am I going to be... Anyways, the point is, for me, I just didn't see it. I just didn't think that particular part made sense, but a lot of the other characters, I feel like they wrapped up nicely despite the pre-wrap-up. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, like, I was telling Tony earlier, the scene, where they're doing the council, I've heard a lot of complaints about it. I actually really like that council scene because they're all different. They're all from like different parts. You know, Sam coming from, you know, supposed to be part of like a big family, but got sent off and then back and sent off. Like he kept bouncing back and forth. You know, holy shit, I can't think of his name. One with no fingers. Davos. Sir Davos, coming from being like a hustler to now being, what is he? I forgot, what does he have?
Master ships.
Yeah, master of ships. It's like they all came from like nothing to now they're on top. So they're all completely different. But for them to like squabble and stuff like that, it's kind of funny. And then the one thing we're talking about is when they're talking about the brothels was the story that Tyrion talks about with the jackass and the honeycomb. Like that's from like what, first season, right? When he first talks about that. And
it was when I confess, and he's like confessing, and he's like, I once brought
a jackass
in a brothel with a honeycomb.
I know, and I was waiting to hear like, oh, he's gonna finally tell this story. Like, I want to hear this story about this brothel, but I mean, it starts with the Starks, ends with the Starks. You know, Sansa, we already knew she was gonna be in power. You know, fits in the north. I was happy with that. I did like how they did all three of them walking through halls and stuff. And it's kind of like they're together, but they're not together. They're separating. So I like their storylines. Tyrion being the hand, for some reason I thought Bran would have asked Arya because of her skills, but whatever.
Arya doesn't know people.
Yeah, she's more of like, you know, she's the lone wolf. But I was happy with them. It makes me wonder what's gonna go on with Jon, you know, because what we were talking about earlier, like the Night's Watch, you kind of don't need a Night's Watch anymore, you know. But then, you know, Tony brought a good point earlier when we were talking before we started doing this, that I guess it happens every 1,000 years, you know, like
not anymore.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, you wouldn't need a Night's Watch anymore.
Yeah, they killed the Night King. It doesn't matter anymore.
But he goes beyond. And it's like, okay, so he's going to become the king of the far north?
Yeah, the king beyond the wall.
King beyond the wall. So, I mean, like I said, I was happy with it. I thought it did good. Now, last thing is, how'd you feel about Brandon's new threads?
Ooh, that blue velvet?
See that new blue velvet
coat
he was wearing?
I was like,
looking fresh, had the neck up to here.
Well, he had to get that summer gear now that they're in King's Landing, because he's not.
He's not looking like a hobo anymore?
Yeah. Got that blue Sub-Zero vest. MK2 baby.
I just feel like it was purchased DLC, and that's not cool.
That's just a reskin.
But I mean, overall, like I said, I'm extremely happy with the series. I'm most likely going to rewatch it again, and then maybe again. So I got arms crossed, man. I'm about to cross my arms too.
I'm not touching the series for another 4 years minimum. Not even gonna touch it, dude.
I mean, there are people out there. I mean, you guys know who you are. That will wait for something to finish. Now's the time to start it.
Right?
From the beginning, go all the way to the end. And, you know, if you have any thoughts or emotions on it, you know, you guys feel free to subscribe. You know, make sure you add comments. You know, tell us about how you guys felt, you know, this season was for you. What are your final thoughts on the entire Game of Thrones series? You know, little things like that. You know, how'd you feel this should have ended? Were you happy with the Daenerys and Jon? Were you happy with Bran being the new king of the wheelchairs? You know, so, you know, let us know. You know, comment below. But I mean,
and that's not to imply that a handicapped person can't be king.
No, yeah, I'm not trying to say nothing like that.
But if you can take control of animals and stuff, maybe instead of doing like crows, you should probably just work into a dragon. Just saying.
Oh, that's the last thing then. When Bran talks about if they know where Drogon is, I was really hoping that when he goes, all right, well, you guys finish the meeting, I'm gonna go. I was really hoping that he was gonna work right then and there. We're gonna go to a cutscene of Drogon flying like somewhere, you know, maybe back over the ocean or something like that. Because there was talks that I've heard that the dragons were, I think, was it asexual, where they could like produce like eggs and stuff still without even having sex. Like, what if Drogon went somewhere else, and the scene is him and maybe a bunch of baby dragons around him? He's gonna plan his attack for revenge against everyone.
I don't know. That'd be kind of cool. I think the cool thing about the dragons is that they were the last one that no one's ever seen. I think that's the cool thing about them for me. But like a birth of new dragon race, maybe. I mean, that's a whole lot of other story right there.
That's it? Good?
No. Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, new DNA. But yeah, like I said, I mean, I'm good. Anything else, you guys?
No. That's
Golden Company.
I'm just glad this.
Glad it's over.
It's over, dude. Like,
What are we gonna
it's
do on
over.
Sundays now? Attack on Titan. Maybe we'll talk about that next time.
I just want Sundays back. I don't want to have to worry about being home to see Game of Thrones on Sunday.
Well,
All right. That's it.
yeah, we're good, guys. So, final Game of Thrones episode for you
Bash
guys
episode.
here from Super Button Bashers. You know, keep bashing out there in those games you guys are playing. I mean, from all of us here. Yeah.
Peace.
Peace out.
Like, subscribe.